The Democratic ticket is set. Vice President Kamala Harris and her VP pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, are hitting the campaign trail. Harris and Walz made their big debut last night in front of a large crowd in Philadelphia.
Walz was tapped as Harris's running mate just yesterday, and now he's locked in for a busy 9-day stretch to Election Day. Joining us now with more insight on what's next for the Democratic ticket is Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey. Thank you so much for joining us, Governor.
Good to see you.
Good afternoon. Great to be with you.
Thank you so much again. And we know that you are good friends with Governor Walz, but there was a lot of buzz around several other potential picks for Kamala Harris for the VP running mate. Why did Walz stand out to you?
Well, all great people, right? And that's the thing with our Democratic Party. We've got so many talented people ready to serve. You know, Tim Walz is a special guy. He is the coach you want to play for. He's the colleague you want to be with. You know, he's the teacher you want to have as a student, and he's the guy you want in the bunker with you. He presented himself last night. I mean, I think a lot of people did not know Tim Walz, but he is going to make a great impression, and America's going to fall in love with him. I think you look at a few things. You know, he's had a life, a career of public service. He grows up on a farm, enlists in the Army National Guard at 17, goes on to coach and teach in high school, goes on to serve in Congress, and then as governor of Minnesota. He's been about service, and that's such a huge contrast to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. He's also somebody who is that football coach, and I think that story really matters. It matters to me as somebody who grew up in a rural community and played sports, that he took a team that was 0-27, and in 3 years they won a state championship. And that's Tim Walz, and his message of hope, his optimistic view on things. He's clearly tough. He coached linebackers, but you know, he is somebody who's really bringing the joy, and that's what people are seeing, and that's what's resonating.
And Governor, speaking of being tough, your guy came out swinging strong with those one-liners, and it made him very popular on social media. Yet he's relatively unknown on the national stage. So what do you think he has to do, or what will he do to boost the Democratic ticket in rural areas like you just talked about, and also battleground states?
You know, I think one of the things I love about Tim is he's a guy that people in every state can love. Because of his record, because of who he is, and just how he relates to people. Look at him last night. He just needs to keep getting out there with Vice President Harris, who has done a stellar job showing herself to be a leader of force, of compassion, also of joy and optimism. He's just got to continue to get out there and be Tim, be the real deal, be who he is, you know, and who people know him to be. And you know, one thing, DeMarco, that I want to note is he was only the second Democrat in 100 years to win his district for Congress. And he went on to win that election 5 times over, right? And I bet you if you polled the people in his community and any of the kids who played for him, whether they're to the right or the left, Democrat, Republican, they'd all go to bat for and support Tim Walz. That's who he is, and that's what he brings out and engenders in people. He has his whole career. It's why I love him and have been privileged to serve with him as governor, and why we're so happy about this ticket. It's a dream ticket.
Governor, Republicans are already taking the opportunity to go after Walz for his record and what they say was a missed opportunity or mishap during the protests in his own state, a mishandling of COVID, according to them, and saying that picking him is catering to the far left part of your party. How do you respond to that?
Couldn't be further from the truth, Ariel. I'm a former attorney general and a governor. The job of a governor is to de-escalate, to protect public safety, to bring calm. That's what Tim Walz was doing in that moment. He was trying to de-escalate. You contrast that with Donald Trump, who, what was he doing at that time? He's sending out divisive tweets. He's tear-gassing protesters and staging photo ops, fueling the fire, ginning things up. You know, that's not leadership. That's not statesmanship. Tim Walz is about leadership. He's about standing up for people. He's about protecting people.
How will he stack up against J.D. Vance if the two debate each other?
Oh, you know, it's linebacker versus water boy, and no disrespect to water boys. That's where we're at. You know, I mean, his record. You know, J.D. Vance pretends to be a lot of things. He's a faker. Tim Walz is the real deal. He's the real deal, you know, and his story is so compelling. What he stands for, it is the American story. And I can't wait to see Tim Walz take down J.D. Vance on stage.
All right, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, thank you very much, and promise us you'll please come back on GMA3. We'd love to have you.
I'd love to. Take care, guys.
All right, thank you. You too.